As you have undoubtedly noticed, one of the prominent themes at this conference is next generation infrastructure and operations. We already heard from the team from Vanguard and Comcast, as well as the team from Google SRE. Anyone who has even a remote interest in SRE, observability, or the technologies that enable it is likely familiar with the work of Liz Fong-Jones. I first got to meet her when she was staff site reliability engineer at Google, and she shared some of those experiences at DevOps Enterprise in 2018. She is currently a principal developer advocate at Honeycomb, and I'm so delighted that she will be presenting with Shelby Spees, who is now a site reliability engineer at Equinix Metal. They will be diving deep into what observability is, what the goals and underlying principles are, and some fantastic ways that anyone who cares about delivering reliable services will care about, and how to make modern production environments something that we actually want to live in. Here's Shelby and Liz.
Thank you, Gene. Welcome to Shifting Left on Production Excellence with Observability. We're here to talk about how observability enables production ownership sustainably at scale so that your engineering org can support your business's need to move quickly in the market without forcing your software teams into this shitty abusive relationship to their systems. Your business wants to move faster. You need to be able to respond quickly to changes in the market as well as ever-evolving security and data privacy requirements. That velocity requires tight feedback loops because it doesn't matter how fast you're going if you're pointed in the wrong direction. Like an airplane, you need to keep adjusting your heading, and in response to changes in your environment, you need to be able to adapt. This feedback loop we're here to talk about today is production. We need to shift production left. Breaking down that wall empowers developers to learn from production and not only build better software, it also positions them to identify how that software can better support your business's needs. I'm Shelby Spees. I recently joined Equinix Metal as a site reliability engineer, and before that, I worked with Liz Fong-Jones as a developer advocate at Honeycomb.
And I used to work with Shelby when we were both developer advocates. And we've utilized our many years of expertise as site reliability engineers to figure out what are the key lessons that you need to learn when you're thinking about this journey towards shifting your production environment left.
As an industry, we've already come a long way. Y'all deserve credit for that. You've probably adopted DevOps strategies like continuous integration and infrastructure as code in the parts of your org where it's feasible and where it makes sense. That helps a lot with the work that used to be manual and error prone. We're catching things like build issues long before they have a chance to hit production. We've already gained so much, but there's still more we can do. So what's the next step? Shifting left. One question that frequently comes up is whether developers should be on call. It's true that if we want our developers to benefit from the feedback loop of production, putting teams on call for the software they write is very effective, but it's critical that we're not setting our people up for burnout. The thing is, production has become so complex. This is especially true in large enterprise organizations where you might have some parts of your org moving to the cloud, adopting progressive delivery, and implementing all kinds of modern deployment practices, while other teams are holding it down on legacy systems and managing integrations with newer components. There's a huge range of technologies and skill sets. All of this makes production really intimidating. On top of that, traditional monitoring tools are inscrutable. They're speaking in the language of individual hosts, but they can't tell you which part of the application things are going wrong. This is true even for seasoned ops engineers who often have to make decisions based on correlations between a blip in the graph and whatever they can find in the logs around that timestamp. That expertise is valuable, but it only takes us so far because prod is always encountering new issues. We've done such a good job solving for so many known failure modes that what remains are these novel emergent failure modes, where there's rarely a singular root cause. It's not just the latest change, but it's often that latest change interacting with some change from 2 months ago or 2 years ago. And maybe it only appears on certain kinds of traffic. Or another example, there's some external dependency that's changed and now the ground has shifted beneath us. We have to scramble to update our stuff in response. Stripe's 2018 report found that developers are spending 42% of their time on bad code and tech debt. Our teams are always fighting fires. We're constantly in this reactive state. And so we can't make forward progress. We can't invest in improving systemic issues when something needs to be upgraded or migrated to a new technology. It takes forever, which really hurts trust between software teams and business stakeholders. Meanwhile, our heroes are exhausted. There's a few go-to people we rely on to keep things running, but they're too busy holding things together. They don't have time for knowledge transfer. So we maintain this low bust factor. It makes our socio-technical systems fragile, and people get so burnt out that they end up leaving their jobs, even jobs they loved. It's a huge waste all around. So while we've made amazing progress in the last decade or so of the DevOps movement, we shouldn't stop here. What we need is production excellence. All teams need production excellence. Those of us here at DevOps Enterprise Summit, we've benefited from all these improvements so that as we continue to level up our organizations, we have a responsibility to pay it forward so that every software team can have a healthy relationship to their systems in production. Production excellence isn't just about what technologies you're using. Buying the alphabet soup doesn't guarantee better outcomes because you can't buy DevOps. Rather, once you have better feedback loops, then you can start making data-driven decisions about, for example, whether adopting Kubernetes can actually help your teams improve feature velocity and maintain reliability. Is it worth the complexity? Production excellence isn't about how many nines you have. It's about investing in people, culture, and process. Because the people building and operating your software systems, they're the lifeblood of your organization. It's a socio-technical system where the tools are there to enable and empower your people to apply their expertise. This is why production excellence is business excellence. You want to invest engineering effort where it'll have the greatest impact for the business, not just this next quarter, but for the long haul. This is your North Star, your guiding principle. So what's the first step? Start with observability. Let's level set a little bit.